13th of April. Oh, it's not even recording yet.
That's a good start. Try that again.
Is it recording?
Mm-hmm. It is now. And you're in.
Okay. This is the third Broken Cage meeting session. And I think, is it recording? It is recording now on my side.
Yeah, it is. We're in. We're good, man. The red light's on.
All right.
Do
So
the thing.
the third Broken Cage meeting. And I think my sort of first question was, what does Broken Cage mean to us? And I think that's what I want to start off with. And I
Yeah.
think it's sort of for us, for me, I think it's our community, it's our umbrella where we um, hub, label. Um, that's where we um, place our creative endeavors. So we have that's from what I understand from our conversation. I'm just summarizing what we've discussed so far.
Sure. Sounds
And
good.
and then so we have Chris Furness music, CFX, aka CFX. He's been writing music for yonks years, most of his life.
Long time. That's time.
Um, and definitely from a musical family. His parents, his dad, his sister, his bro playing on drums. So I've met them all. That's and we live together in Hackney Wick. We've uh, shared a few years in Hackney Wick in this amazing warehouse called Victoria Wharf, and this is what we're doing right here is combining what we've experienced and sort of with the aim is to release more of our creative output out into the world.
Here, man. We'll see you next week. What a beautiful intro. Thank you very much. I agree with all of that. I think for me, Broken Cage is also like a real experiment in Web3. That's kind of what compelled us to start this now. We've talked about these kinds of ideas on and off over the years. Like you say, we've made a lot of music together over a long period of time. I should probably give you your introduction. This is Mr. Avon Terra, aka Mr. E.T., Joseph Avert Taihutu, Avert to me and you, Mystery. Avert has been making and involved in art and music for a long, long time, probably as long as you can remember, right? And I think your skills are many and varied, but where your passion is in recording and capturing moments, and your passion for other people and their creativity and being there to capture what they're doing is truly inspiring. And I know that's where your heart really is, like your first instinct is to set up the camera or set up the mics and just capture that moment while it's kind of buzzing in the ether. But not only that, of course, you write music and a great piano player, and you have also formed one half of the Capsize, which is a project that me and you worked on back in the day, which this Broken Cage thing. For me, that's a big reason for this is to resurrect that project. Like you said, we lived together in a warehouse in Hackney Wick back in the day. We were a bit young whippersnappers. It was a great meeting of minds, and we shared a lot of energy and ideas between the two of us, but also the amount of people and energy, ideas, and that that we met, that big melting pot that we lived in. That's the creation story really for Broken Cage, but also part of the reason, the motivation for wanting to share this stuff now. We're very fortunate. We're very lucky. Some artists are starting out from ground zero, and that's great too. But for us, we've got this whole big backstory, and we want to tell that story. And as far as I'm concerned, Broken Cage was a great way of telling that story, which is really what all this stuff is all about. And at a fundamental level, what human beings are all about. It's what art and music is all about. And within Broken Cage, we want to explore our previous musical works, art, film, documentary, all kinds of things, but it all gravitates around the music. And then, on a technical level, Broken Cage is like I say, an experiment and research into Web3, NFTs, blockchain, all of these things that are happening, these words that are being thrown around, which we're using this as a forum to begin to understand for ourselves. And I think both me and you know that doing that, going through that process, this is the future. You can bookmark this and watch it in 15 years because everyone's going to be on the blockchain. Everything will be on chain. And this is just the beginning of it. It's the wild, wild west. And for once, personally speaking, I feel like I'm in the middle of this stuff and I'm embracing it in a way I never really have of other things. I mean, I've kind of been late to the party on most tech, but this time around, I'm right here, right at the beginning. And I mean, as we speak, the whole world of like NFTs and stuff is like 12 months old, 18 months max. But 12 months ago was when it blew up in 2021. April or March of that year was when everyone started hearing about it. But how many people really know what it's about? Well, a significant minority of people have gone and done the research. And everyone else, I mean, a lot of other people are probably standing around going, what is that? Why do I want that? Why do I want a little pixelated image? And what is this ownership? I don't understand. And that's cool. But I think big motivation for me doing this as well is to do the research and to share together and find out what this stuff is all about, because it's the perfect opportunity to get our music out, and it's also cool and a lot of fun. So that's why I'm here.
Perfect. I agree, and I think it has the same feeling as for me as in the 90s. That's how I describe it. That's sort of that echoes that feeling of when hip hop was created, when drum and bass was created, and in Holland the genre gabba was created. And it sort of, that for me, that echoes those feelings is where we are in right now. It's
totally, it's like this is the 60s, man. This is the 90s. This is internet 1.0. This is like the electricity's in the air, the creativity.
Yeah.
This is that kind of tidal wave of human evolution, and social and cultural upheaval and change that we've been waiting for. I mean, I've been waiting for this my whole adult life. I mean, subconsciously, because the 90s, I was just a kid. And I know what you mean. And the internet came out and everything started changing. In the early 90s, in the early days of the internet, people said, oh, what's that? What are you on about? That's just weird geek stuff. And that's where we're at with this. But surrounding that is this melting pot of energy and electrical field of like creative spirit and openness and energy, which is just amazing. It's something that comes along every now and again, once in a generation or something with human beings. These things occur, and we're right now in the middle of that, or right at the start of it, and that's a great thing. For me, just being a part of it's fun, and it certainly sort of reinvigorated my desire to get out there and do my thing. So all good, really. But I guess the hard work is, like we were talking about just before we came on here, finding the time, doing the research, getting your head around it, fully trying to understand what this stuff is, how it works, and how to implement it, and what the possibilities are. I mean, no one really understands the possibilities because there's so many of them. But a lot of people are thinking about that, and it's the ultimate exercise in creativity to work out not only what you can create, but how you can tokenize it, and what kind of utility you can provide, and how this is going to reshape our entire culture. This idea of ownership of slices in time, ownership of tokenization of moments. And actually, before we came on, I sort of this afternoon, earlier today, like this morning, I was going through and putting a few notes on here. And I mean, we can either go to the demo first, but that's kind of the boring stuff. Maybe we get to that in a minute. But I was going to through
Go for it.
Yeah, I think you've got control of that screen. I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just if you scroll down, but I'm also going to have the notes up as well over here, so that I can also like edit on the fly. Blah blah blah. Excuse me. So what I was talking about, I just put a few notes in because I know we got to some stuff last time round, but it wasn't a huge amount of time left. And yeah, we were talking about what our first NFT project is going to be. And I think it was great that you were talking about. So yeah, if you scroll up a little bit, it's just right at the top, actually, just underneath where the demo is, like at the top of the document. I left some of this stuff in here, and I just thought we'd just quickly sort of summarize that before we get into this week's stuff. And I think at the top it says, yeah, there we go. Like you were talking about the backstory and the characters and how the photo book feeds into that, and how this backstory of where we've come from and through Hackney Wick and the warehouse and everything, how that feeds into where we are now. And one of the things that you were puzzling over was like, a lot of these characters, or a lot of the things that happened in the very first wave of NFTs is Bored Ape, Yacht Club, and all that kind of stuff. Like there's not much backstory to those things, and we actually did discuss that last time, like this idea that in a way they were kind of doing it the other way around and creating a character, and then people are buying that, and it's more about being a member of a club. Celebrities are buying those, and it's going for like a big amount of money. But then it's also what you can do with it. It's about the utility. I just put it into the notes here. I know we discussed it, but I thought it'd be worth kind of going over that again, because it's kind of the crucial point about Web3, really, which is it's what you can do with that ownership. It's what that membership of that club gives you. Yeah, exactly, right there. It's for a lot of people, it can also be about investing in something small that they perceive as about, something that maybe is about to blow up, and therefore they're investing in the people involved, with the hope that in the future they'll be able to sort of cash in that social currency of being like, I was there, I was at the beginning of the Capsize journey. I own this particular slice of audio, or this particular one of the stems they put out for their first album, and now look where they are, everyone knows them. And so it's that kind of cachet or legitimacy that it gives you to own this stuff. And that's what's great about NFTs in this world of Web3, is it kind of tips the old model on its head, where with streaming and everything, music could become almost worthless. It's like now you can slice out 2 seconds of a drum fill, and that can become incredibly valuable. But it's not just about the item itself or the token itself. It's also about what it means, who made it, and where are they now, where are they going. And not only that, of course, we talked about this as well, like the backstage access, the exclusive content, being a member of the DAO, the DAO now being a generic thing where, Broken Cage is going to work towards having a DAO, I would imagine, and that token can give you voting rights and having a say in the direction and even the creative output of that organization. being granted an unlimited license to monetize that IP, which is an amazing thing. And I should just mention, Rory did get back to me. He's not able to come. Hi, Rory, if you're watching. I know you're watching this back. Pay attention. Because Rory is a intellectual property lawyer by profession. He's a lawyer by profession, but his interest is in IP. And we've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years before any of this stuff came to our awareness, before it blew up, really. I mean, barely even existed, this world of NFTs and so forth. So that ability to also farm out, licenses or rights of the intellectual property to those who buy in. So essentially to your fans, if you're a music artist, or to your members or shareholders, if you want to put it that way, of the organization of Broken Cage. The great thing, for example, with my music as Chris Finus, I could then, when I get to the point of being able to do this, put out NFTs, and then the people who buy those would be able to perhaps trade them in the future or sell them on, essentially, in the future as as my career rises. And they are therefore able to monetize what I'm doing and monetize it. You're able to then allow your fans to benefit financially from what you're doing, which is a completely mind-blowing model when you think about Spotify and streaming and whatnot, where we've got to with Web 2. So that getting Rory in to write up contracts and figure out, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I might get a 10% resale every time something's sold, but at the same time, you're incentivizing your members and your fans to also not only gain social currency, not only support you with the IP that you're making, be part of a movement, but also financially benefit. So that whole side of things, we have talked about this the previous couple of times, but I'm going to make it like one of my tasks for the fortnight to look into that more, and then bring Rory on board with all of that and see what the actual mechanics are of doing that, So yeah, I've just whacked that in the notes there. And then you were also thinking last week of developing the Hackney Wick storyline and characters further, and this idea you have of dropping or minting in a drip feed kind of manner before doing any kind of bigger drop. And that's where your collection of images, photos, recordings, music, all the stuff that you've got will really come in. And I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And I wanted to point out that film In Search of Grace is also a place that I would like to write the story. And I've written this down here. I mean, first name terms, because not all of these people are aware, but this was my vision, was that I would produce that, and Kyle would, our good friend Kyle Chase, would direct it, and Ed could come on board as a writer if he's up for it, and Emily working on production design and giving yourself, David, like the role of kind of coordinating the music. That's kind of my vision. I think that's kind of still a long time thing, but I love this idea of setting in motion a small team of people to achieve that. And I think everything we do here in collecting media along the way will feed into that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was worth pointing out.
I agree. Yeah, because that's how I see it. Because when we go through this process, and if we get these people on board and having these discussion recorded, and we can share these drafts as NFTs. That's how I see it. So it's like, here's the first draft something written by Ed as in his first draft on a napkin.
Yeah.
That he's written of. Or here's a sketch that Emily has drawn for the set. And here's a draft of the first composition of collaboration of Capsized, and then here's the theme for the character theme music of Rob Abbs, the bass player.
Yeah. I mean, that is a brilliant idea. It really is. Because I've been thinking about this. And it's looking a little different to me now than it did a week ago, 2 weeks ago, because doing it in this way where we actually, like you say, drip feed little elements of what we're intending to do out one at a time, you're allowing people to come in and see the vision, see the work that's going in.
Yeah.
And hopefully people actually reaching a point of actually wanting to pick up one of those NFTs, which is a big journey we need to go on from here, from week 3, basically, to, with our ideas to actually making that happen. But when we get to that point, what you're really asking is for people to come on board and fund the movie. You're showing them the work in progress. And as people come in and invest and see all of the creativity and the body of work that exists, then you're building up towards that thing. And that was a stumbling block of mine back in January, thinking about this movie. It's been going round and round in my head.
Yeah.
But who's going to fund that? How are we going to go for? How are we going to make the first steps towards it? And this model just seems like so much more fun, because in a way it's also a win-win, because even if the thing doesn't come out fully realized in the way that you'd imagined, the process of dropping these things out bit by bit becomes the artwork anyway.
Yeah, and it will be our learning curve. That we're sharing. So we'll probably make mistakes, but then it's sort of a learning curve, because then we share it, we put it here online for us to learn, but for whoever is watching us in the future, we'll see that journey as well, and probably could avoid from our mistakes.
Well, yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, that's the fun of doing it this way, where we're showing our working. There'll be plenty of those. So I was going to ask you, because I think you might have your ear to the ground a little bit more on this, which is, like, in your view, what does it take to go from where we are now, coming up with all these ideas, to actually building and onboarding that community? And the reason I ask is because, and I've put this in here, you can see, like, I've written about strategy right at the top of the agenda. I wanted to throw that in, because the way I'm looking at it is we've got 2 approaches now. We can, on the one hand, with, like, the Chris Finance project, that's already underway as something that I'm doing, utilizing social media, even advertising and so forth, to build up a proper kind of bona fide presence in the in the real world, essentially, in the old way of doing it, like gaining engaged listeners and fans and customers along the way, and building something that is real in terms of, I mean, maybe I should just launch into this kind of Web 2.0 marketing strategies. I've had this on the agenda since the start, and what I've been doing is I've been working with these guys, Indepreneur, a great agency who've been, basically I enroll with that, and then they do training. And I don't want to speak to, like, too much of that in detail here, because that's this is out in the public forum. But the basic premise of it is that it's a kind of methodology for finding new fans online and then bringing them through a kind of listener journey, customer journey, towards a point of actually making a purchase. And the whole sort of thesis behind it is, you need customers. You don't need listeners. You don't need followers. You need people who are going to buy the things you produce, whether it be they CDs or vinyl or whatever it is, T-shirts, or you name it. And that's the way you build a business. And from there, as money comes in, and what you're really looking for is engaged listeners who are really into your stuff, who will then go on to support you, come to your gigs, be really interested in the things you release, and ultimately support you by buying physical music products and merch and so forth. And at the heart of that is a sort of digital marketing strategy which leverages, Facebook advertising and other particular, techniques to get people along a journey that ends in, well, it doesn't end, but more or less, is sort of validated in them joining an email list. It's like digital marketing of what every business in the world is doing. You get people to the point that they're interested enough that they would sign up for whatever you're offering, and then you can keep in touch with them. And on that one communication channel, which is email, which is, funnily enough, the best way to keep in touch with people, and the way that's most respected. And all businesses are doing that. That all plug-in companies that you've ever bought from and so forth, you'll get an email now and again saying, "Hey, this is our latest product. This is what we're up to." And that's the way business works, in the world that we live in. And so I want to do that. And not only does that give me a legit fan base, one that I can access and talk to again, I can find that I can develop that one-on-one communication because I've made that relationship. It also legitimizes what I do, even from the sort of vanity metrics of having numbers on my Instagram and so forth that can then help me when I go out and book gigs, that kind of thing, because I want to go and play shows, So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do that with my Chris Furness project. And I'm really just at the start of that, but that's my plan. And sure, I eventually maybe be able to warm that audience up and bring people over to to consider buying an NFT from me and so forth. But the problem you've got is Joe Blogs, 98% of people out there don't know what the hell we're talking about with NFTs. And so we're in this really interesting position. Like, I'm going to continue doing that, and I may eventually start saying, "Hey, this next album that's coming out, I'm going to release as NFTs and stems and moments, and tokenize it and all sorts, But until then, you're dealing with a world where 98% of people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then 2% of people are like, "I love this. This is the future." Like, they're trying to encourage everyone else to get into it. So in terms of strategy, I'm going to continue with my Web 2.0 for Chris Furness, and I'll keep updating you here, maybe in my 15 minutes and everything, and eventually maybe seeing if I can actually educate people and bring them over and say, these are NFTs, this is how they work, because there's quite a barrier to entry, isn't there? It's like, you got to work out Coinbase and MetaMask and all these things. It's not yet made straightforward for people. So that's one side of what we're doing.
Yeah.
The other side is kind of what I view as being something that you know more about in terms of your expertise, or just a few hours further down that journey of research, which is, how do we appeal to the people who already are out there in NFT land, metaverse land, Web 3.0, hanging out, just looking for the next cool project, because that is a legit thing to be.
No, you're actually hitting it on the nail, because they are in the same boat, what you just described.
Yeah.
So the people who are in that space are shouting, "Come over here!"
Yeah.
But everyone is still working on 2.0. So what you just described is sort of hitting on the nail. We need to say to people, you could go this way if you want to explore this space. But we need to utilize hand in hand with emails, Twitter, Facebook, and whatever which one we choose to do it with.
Yeah.
But I think I want to learn platforms that could if you post something, it will post it on all the channels. I think there are.
Yeah, there are actually. Yeah, there are services that you can.
Yeah. So that could. Yeah.
I have heard of those services, and we could find out and look into them.
Yeah. So I agree what you just said. So but it works hand in hand. Yeah.
Sure. And absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, have you found the names of any of these services? I've seen that in passing in time, but that's something.
No. Yeah.
Something we could look into. I mean, there's two things I'd say about that. one is
Hootsuite or something.
yeah, right, yeah. Cross posting or whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah.
There's two things I'd say. I mean, one is we should definitely look into. Sorry, the E on my keyboard doesn't work very well unless I hit it to exactly the right place, which is a bit of a joke, really, seeing as it's only about 6 months old, and it was like that when I got it out of the box. But anyway, I'm too busy to send it back. So, yeah, I mean, on the one hand, definitely look into it and let's figure out that stuff out. And the faster you can make it, the better. The second thing I'd say is probably even more important, which is different content works better on different platforms.
Yeah,
there's always worth considering as well. So, like a lot of what I've been doing recently is learning about how to take a long form thing that might suit YouTube and then slice out 30 seconds that would suit Instagram, and then take 10 seconds of that and stick it as a story and make a 20-second thing that would be a reel, and then chuck over some kind of pithy one-liner with a 2-second clip onto Twitter and so forth. So there's that sort of side of it as well. But yeah, absolutely, let's look into ways that when we've got a piece of content that is just 4-bar loops or something, for example, splurt them out onto all the platforms.
Yeah, because if I sort of look at myself as a user, aka customer, I discover it really through Instagram at the moment, and then I see a post from someone that I follow, and they say, "Oh, I've got an NFT out," and I'll check it out, and I'll look into it, and then I'll Google it, and then that's sort of my current process.
So your point of entry is Instagram, yeah.
Yeah. So
you see people mentioning it quite a lot on IG.
Yeah, because the discussion. Well, I'm on it there. I'm on Instagram.
That's where you spend most of your time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess if you go on Twitter and I haven't been on Twitter that much, but I assume it's the same type of conversation. But then so that's how you could sort of bridge that gap. So it's like, oh, you're following.
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. I think I've just sort of highlighted that. The only point of difference being that Twitter is the place where people who are just like hanging out, wanting to invest, looking at NFTs, networking, setting up Twitter spaces, hanging out together, talking about, hey, how can we take your capsize project and then, make it into a movie, come over to Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. That kind of buzz of what was happening on like Clubhouse a year ago. Is now happening like in Twitter and Twitter spaces. So there's that angle. There's the one side, which is like, how do we talk to our potential fans? And like you described your user behavior, like as a sort of consumer and fan of music. Like, oh, someone's talking about NFTs. But then there's the other side, which is like the industry people of NFTs who are like just darting around looking for the next cool thing to be part of. And I think that is all happening over on Twitter and of course Discord. But I just haven't yet wrapped my head around that or found I just haven't spent enough time there. And I was thinking actually an action point for both of us should be, I set up my Twitter this week as in a Chris Furness music one, because I realized that I actually put it down here in the demo section for me, which is like setting up a Twitter business account with multiple logins. You're getting into like ads accounts and all kinds of stuff that is just beyond us at the moment. It's basically a waste of time. So I've just noted that there. What the action point is, I've set mine up now, proper Chris Furness music Twitter with the same profile and yada yada. But I think you should do the same. Recover your Twitter, set up a new one, whatever it takes. Just get in Twitter, and between now and 2 weeks' time, the next demo, we need to spend a good couple of hours each in Twitter, just following all these people, finding out when they're opening up spaces, going in and joining, chatting away. And just when people say, oh, come join my Twitter space, I'm having a chat about NFT, this, metaverse, that, just go in there and just like stick your hand up and go, excuse me.
So
I'm new, I don't understand, like explain that again. And that's because that's where the sort of industry insider info part of it is all happening, really, is Twitter.
So I think I missed something. You said Twitter Space.
Twitter Spaces, yeah, which is
That's
like a.
so I
So
don't know what it is even. So
there you
that's
go.
an,
Yeah.
I
Um,
see.
uh, yeah. So let me add Twitter Spaces. Pretty sure I've got that right. Is
I
equivalent.
see. So it's
They're
sort of
equivalent to like
that Clubhouse vibe.
Group or whatever it was in Clubhouse.
Right. I
So
see.
that's like Clubhouse is like that kind of like
Yeah.
invite only, like this is where all the
Yeah.
industry are.
Yeah.
It's now Twitter Spaces, and that we need to go down there. We need to not just be creators and also like consumers, of content. Like knowing those behaviors is fine, but we need the third thing, which is like we are industry. We need to go in and say, hey, we've set up Broken Cage. I'm a co-founder. My pal Ava, this is Ava. This is what we're doing, and we need to go and chat to those people because that all that stuff is happening, and
Got it.
go and be part of it. Go and say hello. That's I think a big priority for us for our next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like literally networking in those spaces.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Learned something new.
Okie doke. And then while I'm at it, I've basically done my demo now anyway, haven't I? So I'm just gonna delete things to show that I've done it. We're just gonna leave the Broken Cage Twitter account for now. In the long run, I was thinking about having one that was for our institution and that we could both log in and blah blah blah. But I just don't think it's worth it at the moment. So we'll just forget that one now.
Yeah.
The second thing was as you know, I uploaded the previous meeting.
Mm-hmm.
After this one, I think we should start trying to upload them on Fridays or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the next day. It'd be a bit delayed.
Yeah.
So we'll give that. We'll make sure there's an action point at the end. And I mean, I don't know about you. That's kind of like actionable stuff. That's kind of all I've done. I mean, there's some other things I can talk about that I've been looking into, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if you want to just go over where you're at with your tasks from last time. Like if you haven't done any.
Yes. So if I scroll to my stuff, I'm gonna go to Linda, my 50-minute coaching. I've worked a bit on the Linda EP.
Great.
I've added some harmonies, and then a stumbling block. I've added a tempo change.
Yeah.
And sort of like that blocked me because you can't do the auto tune easily with the tempo change. I got frustrated there.
Really? Okay.
That sort of blocked me. But it's okay. I need to. So I just finished the editing until the tempo change. I've decided to do that and then continue there. And then, my previous question was, what is my first Avon Terra release? Have I written that down? I thought I've written it down.
It's gone somewhere.
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah.
So it will be. I had this already.
Yeah.
Called Reconstruct. It's like really heavy electronica.
Nice.
Apex Twin kind of inspired stuff.
Beautiful.
And I thought the piano stuff would be the first, but then I started piano when I was really in Hackney Wick. So the first stuff should be my electronic stuff and leading towards the piano stuff. So maybe the piano could even later. Yeah.
Kind of like a John Hopkins kind of journey. Come in with the heavy stuff and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And with album number 1, how many tracks have finished?
That's all. Most of it are done. How many tracks? I don't know. There are. where is it? 8 tracks
Mm-hmm.
and 2 songs with my sister on vocals. But then,
Hey, Vera, I know you're going to be watching.
yes. So
5 years took your time, but anyway.
I know. So yeah, she's kicking my ass. All good. But then this one song I really need to. It's called "Compressed Freedom."
Okay.
I still need to do some tweaking, and
Yeah.
I need to sort of like let's get it done. But
I feel
8
like
songs,
that's what I'm doing right now, kicking your ass.
yeah.
And just in
So
a very kind of mapped out kind of a way.
yeah.
So you got one track that needs tweaking and the rest are finished. Is that what you said?
Um,
Are
yes.
they like written?
Yeah,
Finished?
they're all
Were they mixed finished or you know
mixed finished. There are, and just need to go to mastering, I guess.
wow,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you have a mastering engineer in mind?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. But that's great.
Yeah.
And then all the other stuff like artwork.
I've got the album cover
Mm-hmm.
ready, but I haven't done the text and all that stuff yet. No,
Mm-hmm.
but the main sort of album cover that's ready. Yeah.
So if we go hold on, down the bottom here somewhere. So just making a note, 8 tracks, 7 finished, 1 switching, finished and mixed, still needed, mastering, oh yeah, hold on. Cover art. There, still needed mastering. Cover art, design, text. And then there's the whole thing of like, how do you anticipate sort of doing the, you know, the marketing, the release, the drop, and all that stuff. Like, if you want to go kind of Web 2 and all that, like live performance videos are a great way. Is there any way that you can perform any of those tracks live?
Not sure. I haven't thought about that yet. No. Yeah.
That's crucial. Like, if you want Avon Terra to have some sort of release where, you know, the album's going to be picked up and that kind of thing, the best way really is to go track by track, as you know, these days.
Yeah.
And then, you know, release the, you know, reveal the album later kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the first point of call on social media is the live performance video. And, you know, I'm thinking, top of my head is like Ableton. And I'm sure you can get like Ableton Lite, you know, you've probably even got Ableton Lite somewhere. And I've not looked into this. I thought about it at one point, but I'm pretty sure Ableton Lite would be powerful enough to run 16 stems or whatever. And if you just kind of stemify your track and then pull up the scenes and whatever the hell you call it in Ableton, but then also like run some live effects on it. So you're able to play through and be like, there's the drums, there's the bass, there's the vocal, and then and you're able to like actually do that, figure out which track is your lead single, or just which one is the easiest. That's often often overlooked when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like which one has got the biggest, the smallest track count, and just find a way to dance those down into stems, drop them in live, like remembering the arrangement, kind of write it down, whatever, and then doing live.
Yeah.
You know, like not fiddling on plugins or whatever. You know, I think that would be, if you want to have an album and some sort of marketing and promotion where people actually pick it up and come along and say, hey, Montero, like, boom, I want to hear this. And then joining on your profile and waiting for the next one to come out, and then coming on to Broken Cage website or whatever, like OpenSea and all the rest of it to pick up the NFT when that particular one drops in the stems. And if you want to create that buzz, your first point of call is that you've got no excuse not to do live performance, basically. That's really the reality. And that's where the reality of this stuff bites. Like you gotta put the work in. But I mean, I would love to see that. Just like you with a big fucking pair of aviators or whatever and your cap on, and just like the roof of disco lights going in here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do that, because I think Ableton is definitely on my radar. I'm planning to buy the Ableton Push device, because I think because I've done the mastering class of Timbaland.
Yeah.
And he was showing how the Ableton Push works, and for me, it's like, wow, that is perfect for me. Like, and thinking about like how to do it, because for me, that's sort of the best device what you can share on social media, because it looks cool and interactive, and
totally. And this is the advice I've been taking, but it took me a long time to come around to it. I ended up spending ages making animations and videos and stuff because I just got carried away last year with the possibilities with Final Cut. And I made these things that are really cool. And I'm really pleased with them, but they're no use for social media because I'm not in them. I'm happy I've got this.
People want to see you, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. And like, I've got that now as extra library catalog stuff that once people are interested, they can come in, they can binge, they can look at all the different like videos I made on YouTube and stuff. Like, oh, this is awesome. Once people are in that place, I love this artist. Oh, there's like 5 different, well, actually, there's like 20 different videos on the YouTube. That's great. But as a first point of call, almost useless. You're not on social media to watch animations. You're there to see people. So in terms of music marketing, that's the key. And that's why I just went up here. If you scroll back up to the top, just totally made a really good point, and I just thought I'd put this in.
Where?
Oh, keep going all the way to the top. Do you see it in black? Seriously, man, like we got to talk about this. I mean, the situation is like you're living in London, the two of you are paying rent, you've got income, you're paying London rent. Like, how much money can you put aside every month for not only new gear, but for like advertising and for, investing in all of the things that we'll need to actually do the drops, gas, all that stuff. Like, are you running around with a spare £5 in your pocket, just hoping to get to the end of the week? Or I don't want to pry, I know this is out in the public forum, but are you able to put money in? I mean, we can probably have the detail of this chat in a private channel, but like, my question really is, what is stopping you from buying the Ableton Push?
No, I think we talked about it previously, is the computer.
Right.
And
that
was the thing. So I'm ready to buy it, and
that's the rub, isn't it? Yeah. So you need one of these, like.
No, it doesn't have to be. So me and Martina sort of are in that process, because she's in the process of upgrading, and then I'll get her Mac computer, and that's able. What's the version? I can't remember what version, but it should be able to run the Ableton 2 Push, and then that's what we're doing. That's the plan.
So is that her iMac?
like the big screen.
Yeah.
And
Great.
then yeah,
Brilliant. Oh well, I mean that.
yeah. So
That's fantastic.
that's sort of the process that we are in, and then so we're sort of deciding when, and then I'm gonna get So we chip in to do that, and then I'll get the Ableton, and then that's sort of where I'm at.
Brilliant. I think the other thing that pops into mind, and it's none of my business really, but like, what's the possibility of getting the push and trying it out on her computer just in the meantime? And so I suppose that the complications of like having to load Logic on there and do things on her computer that are more than just sitting on a conference call. Anyway, that's just like I'm just leave that there. But no,
I agree. I agree. It's definitely in the mind. It's so you're speaking what I'm thinking. So
right, that's good. I'll save you doing it then.
So these questions are
that's brilliant. No, that's great. I mean, you're clearly on the way with that. I would, heartily encourage you to think on the live performance aspect when it comes to that album of Avon Terra's. You know, that'll take time, but that's something we've got. And I mean, the fact that you've got basically 8 tracks finished and ready to master is fantastic. And I mean, I'm really happy to sort of help coach you through the process of getting that out there. I mean, of course, doing these releases, there's a lot involved, but if the music's there and then the mastering can be arranged. And I suppose I'm also thinking one other thing would be like, is there anything on that list that you could just get done anyway in the meantime? Like, for example, the low-hanging fruit, the easy things is the cover art and the text, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, you've got a cover photo, and then of course the other thing that springs to mind is like vinyl, CD, online streaming, all that stuff, NFT, straight onto Audius or whatever it's called. There's all these things. Would you envisage making any sort of physical product for that at all?
So I would love that. The question is, in what manner? I think it would be cool, definitely. But the question is always like, do I have the people who want that? And then the other question, it's been on my radar. I think I've seen sort of vinyl sites where it sort of works like you can get your fans to sort of if it reach 100 pre-purchases, then it will go ahead.
Gotcha. You can do a sort of pre-order scheme. Yeah.
I've seen those type of sites. So it's sort of figuring out what sort of process. But it would be cool. Or I think that the most realistically is do it online, and then if there's sort of side-by-side vinyl, could be a side-by-side vinyl thing with the pre-order sort of template.
On that, I think like the way you said it there, like that's it. They like get that 8th track finished. Arrange mastering. I mean, my guy Mark Neal, I'm sure would do it for you. Whether his expertise is in that kind of electronic music, that's debatable. Maybe you want to go for someone who's more specialist in like EDM and so forth. That's something to decide. Get the the reason I came to physical products is like stuff like text and everything. I mean, get that written anyway, because that can be put out in a digital form. And then, like you say, it's about getting a strategy in place, where, releasing things, getting it in the calendar, doing 1 month at a time, getting something out onto Facebook and Instagram, which is like your live performance video of the first track, bringing people in through that, and then being able to say to them, this is the first of eight.
because
Come along on the
I'm
journey.
following. No, I've followed a couple of guys. They've been doing that process, so they've releasing their singles as singles online. Are you still there?
Yo, yeah.
No. Oh,
hello.
yeah. No, because your video is gone. They've released their singles, and then they've released the album on Spotify and all the streaming stuff, and then they posted the vinyl on their website. Next year, it's going to be pressed, so people are already sort of like, "Oh, cool! It's the vinyl is going to be pressed, but it's next year, and you can." And when he first did that, I was like, "What? Why the fuck next year?" But it's already next year. But it's already May, and so he posted that last year, and I've been following sort of that process.
Yeah, man.
So it's like when the first singles came out, I was like, "Oh, that's a cool album." Yeah, and that's a cool album. I wish that would be released on vinyl. And then that was me as a consumer went through that process. Like, come on, have it on vinyl. And then he did. He posted it later, but later along the line, and saying it's going to be next year. It's like, what? But then it's like it's already next year.
We're here. So, it builds up with sort of suspense. Worldwide vinyl shortage, of course, which probably played into that. But that's great. That's it. That's exactly the journey. And the other thing I would say, the key to all of that, and maybe we'll come on to my sort of 15 minutes in a second because it kind of relates to that. But the key to all of this stuff is just constant content. And that's the thing I've had to get my head around, and that I'm now doing. I've just committed to in the last couple of weeks, and that's it. I'm on the train for good now. Like I've bought in. I'm all in, and I'm doing it. So I've got my one Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and in fact, the thing I'm posting today, I'm going to have to do after this meeting. So, I'll get it in before midnight. But I'm religiously Monday, Wednesday, Friday every single week. I absolutely must post on those days. There's no getting out of it. As soon as I don't post on one of those days, I no longer have a business and I no longer have a career, as far as I'm concerned. Because it's content producing musicians who are the ones who are getting ahead. It's all about the content. And this idea of this finished product album thing is like, yeah, great, sure. But it's completely on its head. So like the idea is like, oh, I've got this amazing album that I spent loads of time doing and it's all finished and you're just going to come and listen to that is so far from where we really are in 2022. And so I would encourage you as Avon Terra, if and when you're ready to commit to it, and if and when you really want to put this album out, and if and when you actually want customers and you actually want it on vinyl, and then feeding into the NFT thing and all the rest of it, is you're going to have to find some kind of content strategy where you can be posting all the time, 2-3 times a week without fail. Because that's been the stumbling block for me. I was doing a lot of the other stuff, but unless you're there, and then you can utilize the Facebook ads platform to get your stuff in front of people for even like £1 a day. You can get things to go to the top of the list, and you can run video ads and so forth. It's all about staying at the top of people's attention and showing the journey. Again, it really just relates straight back to this whole idea we were saying of, oh, here's me trying to play the song on Ableton. Oh, just fucked it up 17 times, post it. That's the whole thing that I've been learning is it's like, I'm going to try and actually be a musician. I don't know what I'm doing. Join me on the journey of getting there, journey of discovery. Watch me make all the mistakes. Watch me try Ableton. Watch me try writing a bass line. Watch me, it's like that is what people want, because they want it's a story. It's you as a personality. It's you on social media, and that's what I've been starting to do. I've got my setup here behind me. You can see this is my work for today. Is like I've got my in fact, I'll do a little rundown really quickly. I've got my looper. It's hard to see over there because I've got it on widescreen, but I've got the RC505. You saw that in some of the videos, right? And now I've got like all my pedals set up. I've got the MIDI keyboard and all that, the mics and everything ready to go. And I've got a new song that I've been writing. I posted it last Friday, and I was hoping to post again today, but I've got something else I'll throw up because that was all day, just plugging it in, working out what channel that's going into, what that is, and then working out how to loop it and build up the entire arrangement onto 5 channels live so that I can then go and play a gig, and rock up. And I mean, it'll take me 2 hours to set up, but but the point is getting used to showing everybody that. Put it on social media. Here it is. Went wrong. Oh, again, fuck. Because that's what people want to know. That like I had that the wrong way around previously. Oh, they want to see Chris Furness. Oh, great musician, cool album. It's like, no, they don't. They want to see Chris Furness trying to improve, trying to become something, trying to go on a journey of growth. So yeah, I would totally encourage that. That could be a perfect formula for like Avon Terra.
Yeah.
Do an unboxing video. Here I am unboxing the fucking punch. Like a lot of stuff we said.
That's true.
Here's me plugging it in. That's one of your pieces of content. Tuesday, Wednesday, here's how the buttons work. Thursday, here's a mad bass line. Like it's literally that. And actually, the shorter the content, most of the time, the better. Just little 5 seconds of here's me like, oh, I've got a choir. Oh, like that's really what it's about. And it's taken a lot for me to readjust my thinking. I'm a bit of a slow learner in a way, or slow to flex to these things. But now I really get it. And that's what I want to do, the Chris Furness thing. That's what I think. I was going to say you should do. Not at all. You do whatever you want. But if you want to have that journey of customers, vinyl, release, coverage, fans, listening to the whole thing, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I agree, because I think that part I haven't really figured that out and thought about, because for me it's like I have the music, I have the album, I need to finish all that stuff, and
totally. But that we could, when you're ready, maybe not this week, maybe in 6 months, but when we do, I'll help happily coach you through it and just build it. It's the perfect story because it's sitting there on your hard drive. But what will be not necessarily the story of you writing it.
No, I like
you getting out there. Your personal challenges of saying, "Hey, this is how I've got this thing. Now, what am I going to do with it?" And come on the ride with me and watch me figure this out.
No, what you just shared makes more sense. Like the idea of figuring out the Ableton. That's easy. Unboxing it, that's easy. Plugging it in, all that stuff, that's sort of relatable and easy to do. And then and I think because one of the posts that I saw is like, what value can you bring to your viewers? And that is sort of what you just shared. It's like that is the value what you share. It's like I'm figuring out how to plug in Ableton, and and then because someone will try to look for it, like how the fuck do I plug this Ableton thing?
And the thing as well is you do all these things, you try all this stuff, and then your fans, your followers, all the rest of it, they start to tell you what it is they want to see.
Yeah, because I think
start doing like some songwriting thing, and you're like, singing, and they're like,
because someone who's
and you do like, oh, I'm doing my cameras and stuff, and then everyone's like chatting about it. Like they'll direct you, but only when you
got it. Yeah, it makes sense because as someone who is me as a consumer, I do that as well. Like I'm following a few producers, beat makers. They're going through that process and they're sharing sort of their beats and figuring stuff out. It's like, okay, that's how they do it. So I'm doing it myself, and I've been and that's the guy who who released his singles and his album. I was following that guy, and it's like,
So what's a great starting point for this stuff is the customer avatar. Like the stereotype of who it is who's going to follow you and be interested. The starting point is you. Like think of the sort of things that you like, the sort of person you are, as the sort of people that you're going to find. So if you do that, you'll find more people who are like, oh, this guy's like doing Ableton and beats, and he's going to try and figure out. And those are the followers that you'll get. Go for it, man. Do
Yeah,
it, do it,
yeah,
do
that
it.
makes sense.
Like, but don't have me sitting here telling you what to do. When you're ready, let me know and we'll get on with it.
Yeah, cool. I like that. Yeah, and another one that sort of I want to throw in there is that is sort of an add-on, as I've been sort of compiling playlists on Spotify, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking to do like DJ sets. So I have sort of like, so that's sort of, I love DJing, so it's like I'm going to learn to DJ, and I will do a DJ set for electronica stuff and a DJ set of, or DJ set or like a radio show for
Really,
a
it's a great idea.
green door type of stuff, and
Amazing.
stuff. Yeah.
Do you have like a Avon Terra Spotify artist profile?
Not yet. I'm still deciding. Yeah, is it?
You can only get that when you do your first release. Am I right about that? You have to release something and then, I don't know, put it in, like, because that would also be great. Because if you did exactly what you described, it's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
If you did it under your artist name as Avon Terra, like that would sort of legitimize it.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you typing it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm down the bottom.
Oh yeah, here. Yeah, okay, got it.
It's a shame I can't just type into the one that's on your screen there. That's the
next one. Yeah, that
will be Google. If you're watching, what we need is that one there to be fully editable. Yeah. Come on, guys! I know you can do it.
Yeah, there must be a way. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's a thing.
It's either they need to figure it out or we do.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, let's just whiz through this now then.
Yes.
You've got a bunch of other stuff. Akasha.org. What's that?
Yeah, so that was pretty cool because where are we? So I love the concept of decentralization, and the main thing that I was sort of interested in, is there a decentralized social media? And so I've been looking that up. Well, that was on my sort of radar a while ago when they released, and now joining our discussion, I need to sort of delve into deeper. So that was one. And then I'm following this guy called Tech Lore.
Okay.
He's really cool because what he's doing is he's like big on open source. So he's like heavy on privacy, heavy on trying to figure out stuff that you can be decentralized basically of the big platform, but still, because create your network, and this is what blockchain is. We still love the network, and he reviewed on his YouTube site called The Matrix. That's interesting. It's an open source decentralized social media. So it's the open source aspect is the best, I think, because it's not, well, depending which one you're looking at, but it's a not-for-profit entity.
Yeah.
So, which has its pros and cons.
Sure.
But that's sort of what I like about it, because it is that movement of what we're going through, is trying to figuring it out, do it yourself, and make it better. And that's what I like about what we're doing, what blockchain stands for, decentralization is standing for, and what open source stands for is it's that sharing of knowledge.
100%. Yeah.
And
definitely. Well, that sounds great. I mean, I'll have a look at those. And actually, do you know what? While we're on the topic of that, in the Asana, I don't know if have you got that open?
Mine looks different, you said.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's just depending on which tabs you have open and that kind of thing. But
Okay.
down the bottom, I added a team, and I thought a good chance if we just go through this a little bit. I
Yes.
noticed that you also, with in terms of BeatStar and BeatClub and everything, you've put that into Asana and so forth. So that's great. You're starting to use it. You're probably having the same feeling as me. Is we need to start getting all this stuff over into Asana, because I loved it today when I just came in. I opened up my Chrome browser. I've got my sort of maroon colored header, and I went into Asana. It was like, boom, you need to do this. You need to do this, and it's like it's a fun way of working rather than just going through the meeting notes. I mean, there's no perfect system, but I put into Asana down the bottom a research team. And I realized as well, we probably need to reorganize our teams a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of like, Asana works at the team level, but ultimately me and you are mostly in every team, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I want to go through and organize the Asana more in line with what's on our Slack, which is into topics, basically projects. So at the team level, we'll put project in search for grace, size, Avon Terra. Anyway, so that's a work in progress.
Yes.
But I put this general research board in there, and I just thought, like, because a big part of what we're doing is the research, right? I mean, you're very good at that, coming up with like that open source decentralized social media, the matrix thing that you mentioned. That's brilliant. I mean, I want to have a look at that, and what a cool thing to discover. And you're coming in with a lot of this. Is great. You're like my go-to guy for your man on the street about all this stuff. What I'm thinking is have a project in there, and we can actually put tasks in. Like, if I just take akasha.org, just chuck it in here as a task, and then assign it to Chris, it's going to come up when I go into Asana. It's going to come up like, hey, you need to look at akasha.org. And then even if I just look and spend 10 minutes there and mark it complete, it's going to mean that I'm going to get through this research and this sharing that we're doing in a much better way, because I found that I can do the tasks that are in the meeting notes, but if I'm looking at your notes of like all this stuff, it's kind of like, but if I have it like in tasks, So I think that's worth doing, is like, maybe not now, but we'll just copy things over and just assign them. And literally that project just has to do in progress.
I agree. Yeah, I think we need to sort of figure out a way, because I think what we're now dealing with, where are we talking and where are we commenting, and where are the tasks? Because at the moment we have tasks in meeting notes, comments in meeting notes, and now we're talking in Slack. And so it's sort of,
we need to sort of streamline it a bit. It'll evolve, but we need to be in Asana a lot with the actual tasks, because that's the best way. I really enjoy going in there and it just says, oh, you got to do this. And then, like you say, we're in Slack. We also should set up our Discord to look the same. So I think we should have an overarching model where it's like the Slack template with like insert trace, cap size, Avon Terra, etc., etc. If that is all, then I mean, that's not even perfect within that app. But if it's all, then the channels are sort of mimicked into the Discord and then into the teams that are in Asana, it could all start to sort of link up, integrate a little better, I think. Because what would be cool is that on our Discord is that when we're able to invite people, hey guys, come and join our Discord. Like, we'll link the Discord below, all right? Let's do that in the description of this video. But then when people come into our Discord, they have all the categories. They can go into those channels and they can start asking questions or commenting or giving suggestions. Like, hey, your documentary. By the way, I've got a whole load of footage of Hackney Wick from 1927. Maybe you want it, whatever. Like, so like it should be open in that sense. Okay, Slack is at the moment is for us and the people directly inside the organization working, but the Discord should be
community.
Mirror that with the same projects.
And
so on. So that's another task that we'll put at the bottom of this list, and then we'll we'll just at some point integrate all of that into Asana.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
I think what was integrate Asana, Slack, and Discord, so they mirror each other.
Yeah, cool.
In
Makes
terms of
sense.
channels, projects, etc. And just quickly can sort of whip through this stuff a little bit faster, maybe. I just put a bunch of things at the beginning here. At the top, I just found a bunch of links. And in fact, that was on the Creative Juice podcast, which is the podcast of these guys who do the Entrepreneur thing that I keep talking about. And their latest episode popped up this afternoon on all about Web3 and stuff. So that was really cool. Sarkar, he's the guy that kind of runs that company or founded it anyway. One of the co-founders is really good at explaining all of that stuff. So that I'll link to that and send it to you. So that you could listen on his explanation of Web 3.0 and how that pertains to the music industry. And he's very astute and he can get right into the sort of pretty technical stuff. But I'll link that to you. I'll stick it in Asana and you'll see it come up, and it'll be your job to listen to at least some of that before I see you next. You know what I mean? And those links that are above are things that he mentioned and that I'd like to check out too. So I was thinking to copy this into Asana and assign it to both of us. And when one of these little research things is assigned to you, I think the best approach is just like, can I assign that to more than one person?
I think so.
Where is that still, even though we've only got the basic? Where's it gone?
You should be able to.
Surely. Does that, are we stuck or?
I can see.
I don't know, because I've got half my. Let's just move this across.
Oh no, only one person.
That's slightly annoying, isn't it? Listen, I'll just do it again. Give you one and give. Like, I ain't paying for Asana.
Well, actually, no. So delete that one. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So this is some camp, and then we do up task, research in the subtask. Chris.
All right. Okay.
Research. It's a subtask within the SoundCloud mirror, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So the original one was me, and then you put one inside. Oh, I see. One is you. One is Okay, great, perfect. I ain't paying for Asana until we're like until we're in profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then this is the main task. We can even put comments in this task, so we can chat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then inside Asana, we're doing specific stuff to like the micro detail of little things.
Yeah.
And Slack is more like, hey man, I just like put a YouTube video. Do you want to just check it? It's slightly more generalized kind of chat.
Yeah.
Or just day to day. Like, I know you're at work, but can you just read your emails when you get a chance? Whereas Asana will be like the nitty gritty, like real detail. Like, I just realized this cool little thing about like.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That sounds good. And so we'll go through and put the other ones in, but there's like this catalog works and.
So one more. I want to try one thing.
Yeah.
Due date the next one.
What's that, sorry?
Due date the 28th.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we should be aiming at. We should I think that's a lot of this is just small tasks that just need to be done.
Yeah, because that's sort of what I've been doing. It's like which one needs to be for the next meeting and which one I can do this Saturday or next Saturday. And I've been trying to do sort of that in Asana, trying to figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically everything in the demo should be done by the next demo.
Yeah, of course. But for myself, the task for myself.
Yeah.
The due date is sort of for myself. This task needs to be on this day.
Oh, I see. Right. Would you always do it to the next meeting, or would you just say, "I need to do this on Saturday"? Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. That's something you'll have to manage. I see what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Sing the viewers a song. I'm just going to go to the
toilet. All right. So, what can we play? We got some tunes.
People want to tell you what to do. Forget about those people that want to tell you what is true. Forget about those people that want to tell you what is right. Forget about those people that want to tell you what to like. Just love it, love it. Oh, hate it, hate it. Just love it, and stop liking it. Just love it. Oh, hate it, hate it. Just love it. Everything else is irrelevant. Don't just be a combination of Versace and Chanel. Just an amalgamation of all the others that you can tell.
So yeah, this is that you heard the first EP. And, the picture here, we already made the video of the second EP. So this picture is the video of the second EP.
All right, you've already done the shoot.
Yeah,
amazing.
It looks really cool, and I've talked about with Bettina, and the format of this video is the ideal NFT because it looks like a painting. So if you have it on the wall, it's like those Harry Potter paintings. It could be like that. It's like those moving images. Like
amazing, man.
Yeah,
that is so cool. And so, what's like the time scale for Bettina and her release and everything?
Well, I need to finish the songs.
Yeah. Come on, you see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's on me. It's on me.
So you just figure out your auto tune, bud.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. But that, I mean, is Bettina on board with the idea of the whole NFT thing? What's her view on what's her intention with the project? Like, what's
so I talked about it, and at the moment it's more like it's in the same space. It's figuring it out. Yeah. So see what it's at, and because
it's beautiful, man.
It's on her radar as well, and because we've been going to museums and she sees it on her radar as how artists are using it. So we went to Berlin and a couple of months ago at these exhibitions, and people are already creating artworks in live spaces already. So she sees it on her radar herself and trying to think of, how can I utilize it?
Brilliant. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. That image is stunning. It's so well done. Right down to the almost, what is it, matte black wine glass there. She sprayed that or something.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything we talked about. It's a fully realized character beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stunning, and like I'm thinking of quite a few different things at once now. One thing that popped up was with the first EP that you guys did. That was kind of an exploration for Bettina, like something to get out of her system. It was fun. I mean, of course, it worked out well, and you put it out on record, and it's always there in the back catalogue.
Yeah.
Does you have plans with this one to do a little more with the release and
so
more?
We had we were jamming with a band, and it sort of fizzed down, which was a shame because we were sort of creating music with them. But yeah, there was always a link with Holland and Amsterdam that made it difficult. So ideally, we would love to have a band as well, like and perform it, and because she's been performing this character for a few years now as Linda Evangelica, as an artist, performance artist.
Yeah.
So she has loads of material already for this character.
Really? So presumably she has footage and stuff like that as well.
Oh, sorry.
She presumably has like past footage and stuff of some of those performances and video archive and photography and I mean, like you say, it's completely perfect NFT wise.
Yeah.
In terms of how visually strong it is, as well as the music you've been making. There's so many ways to develop it. For example, there's that particular track off the first EP that I would love to have a go at remixing, but you'd have to ask Belinda about.
Oh, she would love it. No, she would love it.
Belinda, ask Belinda.
I see.
Well, whichever one is going to give a more positive response. But and of course, like if my time was unlimited, which unfortunately isn't, but I mean, whatever help you want with musical direction or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or like, this is the other thing as well that I'd like to encourage with the Google Drive is the sharing of stuff that's in progress and files and so forth. Like if we go back into the shared drive, I mean, I'm just going there now.
1 second.
Why don't we make a Belinda folder?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'm assuming that Bettina is genuinely happy that it's shared in this way. But I mean, maybe you want to check first. But make the folder, and if Belinda and Bettina are up for it, like share some of the work that you've been doing into that folder. Just work in progress, even just MP3s or whatever's quick to just share, pass over, because I could get an idea of the musical arrangements and put some ideas together for how to lead a band that could actually do that and how to put that band together. If it can do it. And just send me those ideas, because I'll have that in my in my mind to to just to go through that and listen when I get the chance, and then do that also for Avon Terra. Like make the folder and share it in here, because that's probably the best place for me to pick stuff up and just keep
I get what
you're doing, or listen, just just have the things in there.
Got it. Yeah.
So
got it.
Right. But no, that whole project. I mean, the Belinda thing, it would be ideal in so many levels. And I mean, I'd love to help try and in whatever way I can to get a live performance of that together. Obviously, separated by 100 miles or whatever. But even if it's just a little bit of advice on arrangements or anything, really.
Yeah, because the music is there, and it is, because the first EP, I think it's relatively easy to perform. So if you have a basic band together, Um,
And this next one, is it more musically ambitious or?
It has a bit more synths, but
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, send it, and I'll at least or link it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'll have a just even for my own enjoyment, just have a little listen. And
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, but it's nice to have a forum to share in progress stuff.
Yes. No, because actually, Bettina has been kicking my butt, encouraging me to share it with you. So
there you go. You see, so come on.
Yeah. No, yes, it is a yes. Because she wants to hear what you think as well. Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Yeah. I mean that would be great because it actually, well, it reminded me of quite a lot of different things. I was just trying to think back to what was popping up with that because it made me think of. No, it's gone. We'll come back to it. I'm sure it'll come back.
Let's go to your stuff because I think
I
covered mine.
Yeah, that was good, man. You getting your airtime back from that.
Yeah. No, all good. I claimed my spot in the beginning.
What's that?
I claimed my spot in the beginning of this session. So
yeah. No, good. That's good. I mean, in a way, it almost works that maybe we just alternate. Like I started alternating Glasgow, London. It says location. I was just like, I'll just put London this week. So maybe we'll just do that, and I can sort of present the next one, or at least introduce it. Kind of works quite nicely like that. Although I have no idea how you're doing all this stuff with the presentation, but we'll get there. The other thing, I was just obviously I went to the toilet. That was me, and just as I was there, I was like, well, this idea I've had for this podcast, actually, we should just get the guests on during these meetings on the Thursday night. Get the guest on, do some of the chat about. I mean, all of the people I have in mind as guests are people I've collaborated with in the past or currently, or they're all people that are part of the story. Richard, Adam, Laura, Kyle, my mate George up here. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on. I had about 30 people on the list. Of course, it's whether they're willing and available, but I thought the easiest way to do that, actually, and starting with Rory next time if he can make it, is that we do this exact thing, and we chat to whoever we have on about all this kind of stuff and NFTs and whatever it is that would like to talk about, smart contracts and so forth with Rory, and a kind of onboarding thing for him. But then also have a little slot of actually doing the interview with Rory, like doing the podcast. And just it's very simple, like, I'll do the intro, how you doing, and you want to introduce yourself, blah blah blah, and then it's such basic stuff like, what are your first memories of music, what are your first memories of making music or creating films or whatever it is, the thing, how did you get into being a lawyer, like just stuff like that. It's like the basics of every podcast you've heard, and we'll just do a discussion, and we'll try and keep a sort of half-hour section of it to be or even 20-minute section to be that kind of like that part of the chat. And then we can have them on for the whole show, and we can talk through everything we're doing.
Part of it, if they want.
You just snip that section out. You just cut out the bit which is the proper podcast episode,
right?
With other bits of chat that maybe crop up during the meeting. We're going on for like 2 hours here, but we can just drop out a half hour that becomes the podcast.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah. So sort of we do our bit. I don't know, from 8 or 8:30 till X time, and then our guest comes at this time. Maybe, depends.
Maybe the other way around.
Or the other way around,
Get them on at 8:30. We do hey, welcome to the show, blah blah blah. Delighted to have special guest, yada yada, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, with a timer, when or by 9 o'clock or whatever it is, say, well, that's great. We're more or less wrapping up this bit now.
Yeah.
And then we get into our agenda, and me and you do our thing.
I just great. This is great because I'm thinking just the thing that just popped up in my head. If you're an exclusive member, you can join the conversation after the podcast, but the podcast's finished now, and that's what they're doing, isn't it? Like, yeah, sort of.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. If you're on an NFT of ours, or if you're already
continue the conversation with us,
Discord or whatever, you can come and join in on the actual demo like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And then the thing I've been thinking about a lot recently with content, what I'm trying to do for my channel, and for all my stuff, is like get the content right first time.
Yeah.
Or at the time of recording, just nail it and then publish it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we're doing here. But I'm trying to get to the point, it's like, well, I've got this complicated song I'm doing.
Yeah. Great.
Practice it, rehearse it, record it, and stick it straight on Instagram, because it's the editing time that causes all of the delay, like there's always a little bit of editing here or there that you have to do. But if we just say, welcome to the Broken Cage meeting number 4, welcome to the podcast, and just actually do it, and then just chop that bit out.
Yeah.
Then we're not worrying about going through and spending 3 hours editing it.
Yes.
Or paying someone to forget about all that.
And that's that was my intention in the beginning, that we hone this. Hey, we're Broken Cage. This is what we do, and we fine tune it as we go along. But this is what we're practicing. Hey, we're Broken Cage. This is what we do. This is what we want to do. And at one point, we have a 30-second down to 30 seconds what we do instead of.
Yeah, absolutely. And the less of this there is, the more space there is for our guests. And yes, I am eating biscuits. This will forever be known as the Bourbon biscuit episode. Yum, yum, yum. I'll apologize once again last week for the packet of crisps that I tried to pretend I wasn't eating. So, as the guy eating on camera, hi, I'm Chris. This is Broken Cage.
Where we are streaming live in our homes. So
it's been a busy day. And that's kind of part of it as well. I mean, I have a certain phobia about people eating on screen, but that just came to my mind. I'm like, I really want to do this podcast. When am I going to find time for that? And it's like, just do it in this space. Like,
I like it.
Get everything done in this time, because this is the time we've blocked out. So
okay, yeah.
So hopefully Rory's up for it next week, and then like I say, I've got a whole list of guests. We'll have to I'll think it through about organising it properly and prepping them and scheduling in and just whatever. But hopefully that'll work just fine.
That's cool. I like it. Perfect.
Nice. Awesome. Happy days. So where are we? Yada yada yada. We went through all of that stuff. Your coaching, my coaching. Yeah, that was it. Listen, my 15 minutes is in there because I just wanted to talk about what I was doing. I talked about I'm writing new material, and I'm trying to work out a full set that I can do using the looper and all the gear you can see behind me here. And yeah, that's that basically. A big focus at the moment on arrangements that I can perform live, like I described with the looper, and also songs that are shorter and a little simpler in terms of their arrangements and so forth. It's kind of where I'm going. I have a plan to do monthly kind of releases onto Spotify and whatnot. And I think what I'm going to do is I've got the whole 20-page booklet and the EP special edition, which has 16 tracks. It's got the 4 original and 4 remixes and 4 demo versions and 4 sort of other things. It's got all, so basically the EP, you'll cycle through all of the songs in order 4 times, but you go through the original and then you go through the remixes and then you go through like the live version with the orchestra
Nice.
and so forth, and then you end up, if you're still there, you end up with like the original demos and like the scratchy recordings. And it's all there. They're not finished, but all of the ideas are in place, and they're in various stages of completion. I'll come back to that next week and give you a proper presentation with, you know, in the demo of everything that's finished, and we'll proper plan out, you know, the steps needed to get the rest of it done. But that's my plan, is then over the next few months, all the stuff that's on that special edition, I'm going to release monthly. I'm going to have New Tune Tuesday is my idea, and I'm just going to put them out on the first Tuesday of the month for the next few months. And not all of them go out. 4 of them are out there already, and the 4 which are the proper scratchy demos and stuff, I don't think I'll put them on Spotify. They'll be reserved purely for the people who buy the actual thing, like special bonus content. The other things, like there's like the Leaving dub remix, there's the Leaving live with the orchestra, there's the like Leaving early demo, there's White City Blues alternative mix, there's White City Blues demo, there's a White City Blues patchwork outtake, there's like Caught a Glimpse alternative solo guitar solos, there's Fill the Void pop version, Fill the Void full band version. There's like all those things can go out onto as actual Spotify releases, building up over time, over the coming months, something like 6 or 8 months, and then dropping the actual product itself, which, like I say, is a 20-page full color booklet with all bits of artwork that are, a lot of them are still frames from the videos that I made for the songs in the first place. But this is my chance to really release that EP in the way that makes sense these days, with all the bells and whistles. And a lot of those remixes are CFX mixes, so it's like my way of introducing the CFX character. And like I say, I've got all this video footage and all the rest of it, which I think could also be sliced up into NFTs. And as the drop goes, build towards the idea of possibly putting this thing out alongside like a NFT drop, where I do stuff like what the hell is that advert doing across your screen? Where we do it was like a link thing, wasn't it? What am I trying to say? Like, you know, doing like stems and slices of short pieces of video and all the rest of it, eventually go into the NFT for the whole Leaving special edition thing. And then, so that's all bubbling away. But then at the same time, I'm writing for the new album, working out. I spent all day today, I sort of spent all week on this one song, but trying to now get to the point of, I've got the piano and the bass and the drums and all the stuff and the layers and the vocals, and then I'm getting the guitar in as well and working out how to properly loop and layer that. And then I've got like the whole map of exactly what button needs to be pushed when. Then I've done it like a million times and I still only get to the first verse. But that's the plan, because this summer, or it's probably going to take me longer than that, maybe next summer, but whenever that's all ready, is I want to go out in Glasgow and do gigs like that. And maybe minus the drum kit. I mean, I might just use beats and stuff. If it was indulgence today to like layer up 5, 6, 7 tracks and stuff, and then get on the drums and just, you know. But it's a proper live show, and my plan is that I put out a new album that can be performed that way, which I've got, like I said to you before, I've got about, depending how I look at 9, 12, 13 tracks of that, not completed, but in various stages of completion. So the new album is then on its way. So then once I've done the whole Leaving special edition thing, I'm able to go straight into that. And then the plan with the live show is to do versions of maybe 1 or 2 of the EP tracks, but then all the new album stuff, and go out and do gigs, you know, as I'm building up with my Facebook advertising and regular posting on IG and all the rest of it, putting out a YouTube video every week as well on my channel, and then doing monthly Spotify releases with all the bells and whistles around that, including the performance video and all the rest of it. As I'm building all of that stuff, I'm then able to go and get gigs, and I'll, you know, start off going into whoever's open mic or whatever will take me or a local cafe. But as I'm building, I want to be able to also take my social proof from online and then use it to help me book slightly bigger shows, and also use the leverage the Facebook advertising and IG ad platform and whatnot to find local people who'd actually want to come, and really just building the project up as a like old school thing of like eventually meeting promoters and managers and stuff in the old music industry. Plus using Web 2.0 and social media, and then maybe even transferring into NFTs and so forth. So like that's where I'm at. And all of those things are going to happen, and we'll put them on the calendar. That's my next thing, is just like stick in all the Tuesdays and just hit those targets no matter what. Get Mark Rand to help me do the acoustic treatment in the studio. And once this room is treated, I can do all the mixing, and then it'll be boom, boom, boom. And yeah, that's it really. And I thought about the whole CFX Chris Furness thing, and I was just like, I've put so much work into Chris Furness YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all the stuff. I've even got a website with my domain name, chrisfurnessmusic.com. Go and check it out. By the time you're watching it, there'll be something on it. And I just couldn't bring myself to, like, last time I was telling you, I really want to do CFX and just move on and everything, but I've got all the infrastructure there. I'm going to persist with being the artist Chris Furness, and the CFX thing is going to be a little fun sideline.
Yeah,
that I'm just is just a little part of who I am, because there's no way I'm going back and redoing all that stuff to create all the profiles, and you know what I'm saying. So
yeah,
so that's where I'm at, and I'm delighted. Really, I'm really fortunate that I've got this previous work that this previous body of work that also feeds into the stories and short films and everything we've been talking about. And so my idea and the vision now is that all this stuff starts to cross-pollinate, like we were talking about before. So when when you're posting photo book things, I can repost them. Yeah. But that also, of course, the capsize story and everything is part of my artist journey. And before we know it, with these fortnightly meetings, plus the work I'm doing daily, and the little bits and bobs that the serious work that you're doing around your day job and everything, but at whatever pace we're all moving at. But as we keep going one step after the other, week by week, day by day, at some point, this is all just going to snowball. It's about momentum. But for me, like as an artist, everything we've talked about feeds in. So if you come into the Chris Furness music ecosystem and you hear one of my live performance videos, and then you come in and here's this guy. I've got all the releases coming up planned out. I've got the physical product, the idea about building the email list. I've got all that, got the gigs, but then as Broken Cage starts happening and it's like, oh, capsize and photo book, and oh, there I am in 2010 behind the drum kit. It just starts to really build. And this whole idea of world building that you hear a lot about is like, well, this is it. It's all here. It's just a case of one foot in front of the other. Yeah. Keep going. And so I'm really delighted with both of us. But personally, I feel in a really lucky position with my artist project that I've actually done a lot of work over the last 2 years to build up the online presence. And it's really just in the first stage, but I can feel the next bit. I can feel that at the platform, the jumping off point for the next thing of actually growing. So, and like me and you as well, as I take, I'm very grateful and lucky that also I've been making music for 30 years, and so like it's only in the last 5 or 2 that I've been learning how to sort of put it out there, or 10, who knows what, but like all that experience behind us really feeds into this, which is a beautiful thing. So yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, man. And that, of course, there you go. I actually pulled off what was on the homepage because I had something sitting there. So, there's all these bits and bobs of work I've done, like this banner art and all kinds of things. I had something sitting there from last summer, which is like an opt-in form to sign up for the Leaving EP experience. I still plan to build this out, which is a 5-day email experience, which is using an email autoresponder.
Yeah.
We use Drip, although it's a bit more expensive than MailChimp, but in the long run, I'm going to use that. So yeah, these pages are blank currently. But
yeah.
The idea being that over time, as people come into my ecosystem and then they become aware of who I am, and then they land on the website and through other various campaigns of getting people there, traffic there, is like, well, what it did say, it said, sign up for the Leaving experience. It was in a big banner. I should have left it because you could have seen it, but anyway. And then I had a little bit of blurb saying, what is this all about? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's like, it's a 5-day email experience, interactive kind of experience of telling the entire story, the backstory really of recording that EP, where it all came from. And then as you sign up, you go into the autoresponder and the first email comes through like, hey, thanks for signing up. And then boom, day one. And you go in, and in there you direct it to a web page or whatever it is, like a private web page on the website. And in there, day one, it's like, here's the story of Leaving. Here's the story of how I recorded that national tune guitar part in the studio with a Heart Murmurs recording session, state of the art in Christmas, like 2009. And Richard was in the control room doing like overdubs on his little electric guitar thing and like taking a sweet time about it. And I was through in the vocal booth. I plucked off the little national tune guitar off the wall of the little sort of living area they had there. And I was like, I'd never heard a guitar naturally. It's a beautiful thing. And I went in the vocal booth and I was just strumming away. And Richard went off to buy some beers, and I had my little MP3 recorder, ring, 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 and that was just an improvised thing, those chords. And those are the chords of the song Leaving. And that guitar part is actually in the beginning of the production. And the whole journey of taking that, like, 4 or 5 chord thing, whatever it was the verse and the bridge chords, and taking that into the kind of verse and chords, really, taking that, and then Richard producing it, and going back into the warehouse and pulling our piano apart, making a tack piano. Do you remember putting all the drawing bins in, recording that, and then a pump organ, which we've got photos of. You see, so you've got a photo of me and Rupert by the pump organ, right? That pump organ feeds into capsize and breakdown and everything.
Yes.
So if we could find that photo of that, that feeds onto that page. There's me and Rupert.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like, and here is the actual recording you can hear of the day when I put the pump organ on. And like, okay, it's a bit out of tune, so I had to like go and correct that, auto tune it, whatever, and so it's going to take you through step by step the production of that song,
right,
and the lyrical ideas, and then it's like, nice one, see you tomorrow, and then tomorrow the autoresponder will send you an email the next day. And then it'll be White City Blues, and it'll take you through the patchwork thing. And that photo you've got of me and Laura and Phil, and will be on there, and the whole story of that theatre show and what she was saying with that. I contact Laura as well. She can come on this show, the podcast, and with her permission, also like in that page, just have like the original with her actual monologue on there, and then the demo that I made on the 4-track one time when no one else was around. We had the drums in the middle of the room still. I think the drums were still in the middle of the room from Migrants recording being done or something. And the sound on that's incredible. The performance is a bit chaotic, but the actual sound, because I just had the recorder in the middle of the warehouse next to drums, and the piano was there. I don't know if we'd had a gig, but it just sounded huge, just on that little 4-track thing. And then from that process of then Richard coming and producing that track, like from start to finish almost. And then the agonizing process of spending 18 months, 2015 to 16, trying to mix the thing with a piece of audio that really should have just been started again. Because kind of, you know, but not wanting to give up, because the vibe of it was so. And actually coming to a point where the success of that mix was down to the space, and actually, like a lot of what your recordings are like, it's like you almost just don't need to mix it, you know, because of that room, you know, because of like a little low cut and a little whatever compression, and you're done, you know, pan it. And the discussion with Mark Neal, who I'd also love to come on the podcast, when I worked with him in 2016. It was that summer when we did the Scottish Chamber Orchestra project together. And I was chatting about that very thing. I'm like, oh, I'm mixing the song, it's doing my head, and he was saying, right, go and put a 50 hertz gate, you know, on a synth, and gate that from your kick drum, and get a sine wave, and just get boom, boom, get that information in there, get some white noise on the snare. And I went home that night and almost finished the mix. I chatted to Mark for like 10 minutes, and I'd been working on it for like 18 months or like a year or something, you know, just like turn that bit up, turn that bit up, turn that bit up, turn them all back down, compress, uncompress, and it just was never quite there. And I literally talked to Mark for 10 minutes, and he sorted out the whole thing. It's like, oh, there it is. And so all of that will be inside the email experience, you know. Just chop out what I said, and we'll just put that in there. But you know, on day 3, day 4, each of the 4 songs, and then day 5 will be more of a summing up. And, I mean, originally my plan was to make an offer on day 5 for the booklet and stuff, but who knows? Maybe not even. Maybe just thanks so much, and let's stay in touch. And then at that point, you're posting 3 times a week, all the rest of it, but you're emailing your list every single week. You know, that's where you got to get to. Hey, how's it going? You know, I played 3 chords on the ukulele this week. I hope you're well. See you later. Or, hey, how's it going? I just wrote 5 new songs. You know, like, it's that kind of interaction that, building towards.
Nice.
Can I do a screen share? I just wondered very quickly. I know we're getting pretty late, but what does it take for me to show you?
So if I stop the presentation, how do I do that? Stop presenting.
Stop presenting, even.
Now we're part of the show, everyone. No.
What does that mean? I can raise my hand.
Yeah. So if I right click. No.
I was going to apply visual effects.
Actually, if you go to the calendar or the link, if you click on the link, and then you join, before you join the call, it should say a button, join or present.
Well, it says join. That's weird, though. I just wonder, there must be another way. I do see what you're saying. Mine doesn't say join or present, probably because you're presenting.
Maybe.
You would think that if you're presenting, still I can kind of. Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna try something funny here. Oh, yeah. Look, I've got a silly idea. What about this? It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it. Apply visual effects.
Yeah, here. There's a button. Do you see this button here? Can you do that? Can you see that?
Oh, where's that? Well, how do I go into Google Meet? How did you get to there?
So in our meeting notes, there's the link there.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. There it is. What, the one at the top?
Yeah.
That link.
Yeah.
If I, what's going on? Why can I not click on that?
Double click because it's a header, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Present. Ah. Whoa, hello.
Okay. But then.
This will allow you to take over from Ava as the main.
Yeah.
Editor.
Okay. Can you click
Yeah.
OK?
Okay. Welcome to companion mode. Companion mode lets you use your device for this video go into your second screen without causing echo.
No. I'm still seeing sort of my screen. So you haven't taken over.
Chrome wants to share the contents of your screen with. All right. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I think entire screen. Which one? That one? Share.
Ah, yes. There we go.
It's gone.
There we go. Oh, this is going mad now.
Right. How many
Amazing.
versions of this?
Wow, we're in a loop now.
How many?
Amazing.
Okay.
Right.
Understood. Understood. Right. I'm presenting. So, but what happens if I do this? Can you see this?
Yes.
I can't see what you can see for some reason, but oh no, actually, I'll tell you what, I know why. Let's do this. Oh no. Wait a minute. If I do this. Hey. Whoa. It's late. Oh, that's one thing I can say. My brain is not ready for this. Right. Oh yeah, I think I know what I'm trying to do. Finally. I was trying to do that. Just fast forward through this bit, folks, yeah?
Oh, you can learn something here.
That's it. Right. I just wanted to try and show you what it was I was on about. Which one is it? Maybe it's this one. Bear with me. Oh yeah, that's
sneak preview.
Hold on, that's got it. So can you see this?
Yeah.
So this is the beginnings of where I got to with the 20-page booklet. You've got the cover at the top here. And then it goes through all of these different sort of stills from
nice
videos. And these are like on opposite pages because I was working out how to do the actual printing. So everything on the right, top right is page 1. The next one on the right is page 2, page 3. In fact, I think if I go to the earlier version, there is a version where it's just, yeah, I think this. If I go here, I should be able to just through the pages. Here we go. Yeah. Page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of these I can update because I've got new, more recent versions of videos and stuff with. Lyric in there talking to you used to be so easy. And then I've actually put the lyrics of songs in. Oh yeah, and the center spread is that just to fill the void.
Nice.
So that will be in the center. But stills from the Fill the Void video. Got my music box in there. Nice. Quite a lot of this, the Caught a Glimpse video and everything is actually updated. So I've got more stills that I want to put in. But this was the first prototype.
Nice.
I want to get this here. That's a bit of the sheet music from the orchestral performance of Leaving.
Nice.
So a lot of this stuff, when it comes to NFTs, you're sort of thinking,
I was thinking exactly. I was just wanted to cough that in. It's definitely It's very nifty.
very nifty, man. Yeah. NFT land, right?
Yeah, definitely. Each image is
Yeah.
is a piece.
Yeah, exactly. And like, for example, this is an actual piece of sheet music from the actual
Exactly.
orchestral recording. So
So
you
yeah.
could
So
buy a
here,
page of the
here
score, or you could buy the
yeah,
violin,
yeah, yeah.
you know. And that, like I say, that was the early version. I then went through and took, a bunch of stills from the animations that I made. So like this is, this is all prior to my knowledge of NFTs. I was doing all this work anyway. And so I've got all these kinds of things.
Mm. Yeah.
Which are all stills from kind of pieces of art in themselves.
Yeah.
And the other possibility is to take little GIFs, little from
Yeah.
video and have
Yeah.
a section of the song there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my computer's clearly finding it quite a lot to run all these different.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So like.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Something like that. Like.
Yeah. Nice.
It's all there. So you with a bit of curation, there should be an NFT for each of these things.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff going on, and I mean, not every single one is brilliant, but you go through and pick the best ones, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share because that kind of demonstrates a lot of the work that is there.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. Nice.
All right. I wonder what was it recording? It was just recording all this stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. And now we're here.
No, oh God, how many of us is there out there? Oh my God. So yeah, man. Any other business?
Let's quickly review our notes.
That'd be good. Exactly.
IG account capsized to do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all good. And then all that stuff. At the bottom, CFX, smart contracts, is all to do stuff, all good. We'll follow that up next time, or
I'm currently sitting in front of a piece of the artwork from my.
I see. Nice.
But this one will be up as an NFT in the near future.
That's it.
Right. Shall I get out of companion mode or whatever? This is
quite
bonkers. I just exit this.
Or I can go and do that. Boom.
So close that. Stop presenting. There we go. Stop presenting. Always with the presenting. I'm fascinated to see what this YouTube video is going to render out. Actually, still here. Well done.
Yeah, nice. And I think, I think we can conclude it for today's session. I think we covered most of it.
Do you think we've captured most of that on the actual meeting notes there? We have, haven't we?
I think so. Yeah, I'm going to I've made some notes on the side. So I'm going to add.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, David. So you're doing minutes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, not a lot more to say, really.
No, I think that's it.
The record. It's on its way. Look out for the NFT drops. My stuff is all there to do, but it's gonna come in good time.
Hmm.
In the meantime, a lot of research and development. Belinda, Avon Terra. I'm going to keep going with my Chris Furness. This is CFX, Chris Furness, my main man, Mr. E.
Yes,
Avon
actually,
Terra.
yeah, I think that's Mystery is gonna be on the DJ. So I'm
Okay.
gonna have an A Fonterra Electronica DJ mix set radio station,
Yeah.
and then I have a music podcast. I have a name on my Spotify list, but I can't. Oh yeah, it's called Electric Dreamscaping.
Oh,
That's the name of that podcast radio show. And then,
are you going to link it to me?
well,
Oh, that's the name of your work.
I'm figuring out how I'm going to do it. So I'm sort of
That
like,
sounds cool.
because I want, I
Yeah.
think the idea is to, what we've discussed, to create that live DJ set, join in me live, listen to the show. Of course, that's the live version, but it will be uploaded as well. But so the plan is to do, I'm going to record myself DJing and talking it into it.
Like a radio show kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Lovely.
With the ultimate goal, ideally, that this show will be on a actual radio, or my own radio station. But it would be cool to have a show on.
Who cares where it is? Make it. That's all that matters.
Yes,
You're not
of
gonna
course,
care
of
what
course.
you said.
I know, but
Actual radio's over, man. Sorry, it's
okay,
late.
that's 2.0. That's 2.0. Yeah, of course. I hear what
No,
you
I'm only teasing, of course. But yeah, start here.
start
I'd
here.
love to hear your radio show. I just popped into my mind as well when we do the podcast and everything. All the people that we've collaborated with will be able to play pieces of music and stuff.
Yeah.
In that podcast, because it will be our music, which we own the rights for, and therefore we can just play it as like a radio show on the podcast. Slightly different when you're DJing, of course, but that's another format. But that sounds great. Would your DJ name be Avon Terra?
So I think Avon Terra is the heavy electronica stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm still deciding what. Probably Avon Terra 2 will be the
mystery.
Mystery. Yeah.
Gotcha. But we can link all that stuff together.
Totally.
I'm big for that these days anyway. If someone knows you, they know all the different personas, and they just take the bits they like.
Yeah.
If you only took little bits you liked from myself, then you'd be doing great. On that note, it is late. We should wrap this up. Pleasure as always, man. Love and respect. Until next time.
Live long and
well. I don't know how to do that. I'm doing this. You gotta hit stop.
Where's the stop button?
And next week, folks, we will know where the stop button is. They don't make it easy.
They don't make it easy. They want you to continue and keep going and going. And oh, yeah, stop recording. Stop recording.